All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're unpacking a really high-stakes energy debate happening in Taiwan. There's an exhibition in Taipei making a strong case for a yes vote in a referendum, a vote on whether to extend the life of a 40-year-old nuclear power plant. So we're going to break down the case it's presenting.
So, to kick things off, the exhibition poses this pretty shocking question. It's designed to hit you right away, to frame this whole debate not just as some simple policy choice, but as a critical issue of national security, maybe even survival.
So here's the deal. There's a big referendum coming up on August 23rd, and this exhibition, put on by groups like the Taiwan People's Party and others, is basically a big, detailed argument for why they believe the Manjian nuclear plant needs to stay online.
The way the exhibition sees it, Taiwan is at a major crossroads. The entire case they're building is structured around what they call 5 interconnected crises, all stemming, they say, directly from the country's current energy policy. So what are these 5 big problems? Well, according to the exhibition, you've got fuel insecurity, rising pollution, conflicts over land use, huge financial losses for the state power company, and an unstable electric grid. Let's dig into how they break each one of these down. First up is fuel insecurity, and this is where the numbers they present get pretty stark. They say that at any given time, Taiwan has just a 14-day supply of its imported natural gas. Just 2 weeks. Compare that to nuclear, where they claim a single load of fuel can power the plant for 18 months. That's a massive difference. The second crisis they point to is pollution. The exhibition makes a direct link between shutting down nuclear units and having to burn way more coal and gas. They say it now accounts for over 90% of power generation at night. And the argument they make is that this is making air quality worse, especially in central and southern Taiwan. And then, of course, there's the money. The display claims the state-run power company Taipower is heading for absolutely massive losses. We're talking a projected 570 billion new Taiwan dollars by 2027. The reason, they argue, is pretty simple. The company is being forced to buy expensive green energy and then sell it to people like you and me at a loss.
Okay, so after laying out all those problems, the exhibition pivots to its solution. Just extend the plant's life. And to do that, they go on the offensive, directly tackling the public's biggest fears and questions about nuclear power, one by one.
This is a huge one for Taiwan for obvious reasons. The display asks the question on everyone's mind. In a war, wouldn't a nuclear plant be a massive target?
Well, the exposition's answer is really interesting, and it has 2 parts. First, they point out that intentionally attacking a nuclear facility is a war crime under the Geneva Conventions. But then, second, they completely flip the script. They argue the real risk isn't a direct attack, but a blackout caused by a blockade. And in that scenario, having an 18-month fuel supply that doesn't rely on imports, well, that suddenly becomes a huge strategic advantage.
Okay. This is probably the single most common concern. How can you possibly have a safe nuclear plant in one of the most earthquake-prone places on Earth? To tackle this, the exhibition uses a really striking comparison. They show the seismic design of the famous Taipei 101 skyscraper right next to the Malishan plants. And you can see Taipei 101 is built to handle 0.3 Gs of force. The plant's safety equipment, though, is designed for 1.384 Gs. That's over 4 times stronger.
Next, they go right at those deep-seated fears, the ones everyone has about radiation and that nagging question of nuclear waste. What do you do with it? Let's see what they have to say.
To deal with the radiation fear, they present this data, and it's meant to give you some perspective. It shows that the natural background radiation up on Alishan, the popular tourist mountain, is actually almost double the level that's measured around the Malishan plant itself. In fact, the entrance to the Lanyu waste facility shows the lowest levels of them all.
And on the waste issue, the exhibition points to this official government plan. Their argument is that a process for finding a permanent disposal site has actually been going since 2005. The plan is to pick a final site by 2038 and have the facility up and running by 2055. So their point is, this is a problem that has to be solved anyway, whether the plant keeps running or not.
The exhibition's case also leans really heavily on the financial arguments and the data. So let's take a look at the key figures they're putting out there.
So here's the big headline number. They claim that if you invest 300 billion new Taiwan dollars to upgrade and extend the plant's life, that investment would pay for itself in just 1 year. And from then on, they project the plant would churn out 300 billion in profit every single year.
Now, this is maybe the most dramatic statistic they present. They use data to compare the number of deaths for every unit of energy you produce. And according to this chart, coal power is shown as being 1,900 times deadlier than nuclear. Even solar power is shown as being almost 5 times deadlier, which likely takes into account things like accidents during manufacturing and installation. It's a staggering comparison.
Finally, the exhibition puts Taiwan's energy policy in context by comparing it to its main economic rivals. It shows that while Japan and South Korea are planning for 20 to 30% nuclear power by 2030, Taiwan is officially targeting zero. The data here is meant to paint Taiwan as a major outlier, basically asking, why are we heading in the opposite direction?
And that brings us to the final argument from the exhibition, which kind of zooms out from just energy policy and gets right into the world of politics. They frame this referendum as something much, much bigger than just a vote on a single power plant.
So what's this vote really about, according to the organizers? They see it as a huge public opinion poll. It's a chance for regular people to send a direct message to the government, to demand stable and affordable electricity, and to use it as a tool to influence the political scene ahead of the 2026 elections.
And that's where we land. The exhibition presents what it sees as a very clear choice. You can either embrace nuclear for what they call stable, low-cost energy, or you can continue down a path that they frame as expensive and insecure. For a nation standing at this energy crossroads, the whole debate really boils down to one tough question. What is the right price for power?